Hello and welcome back to the W Basketball Show. I'm your host Lukas, joined today by Mark. Mark, you alright?
Yeah.
what seemed to be the issue?
I just got freaked out by the audio being on that channel and then you recording above it, and I was like, "What are you doing?"
Oh no! See, I have a template, and yeah. But that's not what we're
That's
here
so
to talk
smart,
about
man.
today.
I don't even. You don't have to drop anything into the multi-track at all. You just record.
I record straight into the template.
That's awesome. You're
Yeah.
burning straight onto vinyl, if you will.
Yeah, well, I'm fully. I think that's been a big thing that I've developed across the board, personal life, professional life. I'm basically purely running on templates now. I've
input information.
There's so much of it is like the annoying admin-y stuff you do at the end. I started with that, and now all I do is the work.
Give me an example that's not relevant to podcasting. Maybe like cooking. Do you have a template for cooking?
Yeah, chop your veggies first.
This guy's a bloody genius.
But oh god, now I'm peeking. Hang on, give us a second, listener. And we're back. Yes, that's looking and sounding a lot better. Marco, we didn't come here to talk about bloody templates. There is way too much to get to for us to faff about.
Yeah.
But how have you been?
Yeah, pretty good, man. It's been a busy January. It's like 40 degrees outside. That's like infinity for our American listeners. Yeah. Hot and bothered, I would say.
Yeah.
How have you been, mate?
I've been good. I haven't had you on the W in ages. I feel
A very long time.
Yeah. But as the WNBA season's, sprinting towards us, I'm sure you guys will hear more of Marco. I've been good. It's been good to do some solo Ws. I've been to a lot of WNBL games.
Yeah.
Went to the 2 in Geelong this past week. I got pretty much everything wrong about the bottom 5 in the WNBL last episode. But it's been good. It's been a fun season to follow. Bendigo's going strong. Sammy Whitcomb,
Oh my goodness.
new member of the
best
newest
player on the best team in the league, if you will.
Phoenix.
Yeah.
But it's been fun. And you're about to jet set off to fucking Bali.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Looking forward to it. No basketball over there. Just the other bees.
Bali Belly.
Beer, Bali Belly, and beach.
Oh, those are pretty good bees.
Yeah.
But not as good as basketball.
Exactly right.
WNBA free agency is going crazy. NBA trade deadline's going crazy. Maybe a secret third league we haven't heard about is going crazy.
Planes falling out of the sky. We were talking about that before the pod started. I feel like that ties into it all, maybe.
Yeah, well, craziness for sure. That's quite disturbing and harrowing. But not as disturbing and harrowing as some of these new faces in new places. Where do you want to start with this? There's been so much that's happened in WNBA free agency. Do you want to start at the top of the dock?
Yeah, let's start at the top of the dock because there's 2 massive trades which involve lots and lots of moving pieces. But we'll start with the one that happened first in chronological order, which was the Kelsey Plum Jewel Lloyd trade. Would you like me to read you the particulars of this trade, Lucas?
Yeah.
So in this trade, the Las Vegas Aces received Jewel Lloyd and the number 13 pick in this upcoming 2025 draft from the LA Sparks. The LA Sparks received Kelsey Plum, the number 9 pick in the 2025 draft from the Seattle Storm, and a future Seattle Storm second round pick. And Seattle received Lee Euro.
I think it's Euro, yeah.
And the number 2 overall pick in the upcoming 2025 draft from the Los Angeles Sparks, as well as a future Las Vegas Aces first round pick. Lucas, this involves both of our teams. It greatly changes the face of both of them. How do you feel? How do you feel about the Seattle piece in this first?
I'm pretty happy. I think Jewel Lloyd had a very down year last year. I actually get the feeling we're probably going to have similar perspectives on the players we have going out. I think, I think Seattle. I mean, I've said it. I think every time we've talked about the Storm since Bird and Brianna Stewart departed in the same offseason, I've been saying that is your franchise telling you to rebuild, and we didn't. And now getting the 2nd overall pick, I love Lee Eru. I like that she really embodies playing a big, and she loves being the big on the court. And I'm excited to see what that's going to look like for the team I support. number 2 pick. Seriously, I have no clue who this is going to be. I know who it's not going to be.
Yeah.
It won't be Paige Beckers, unless there is some way we can move up in the draft. But like, if you were to do like the untouchable, trade assets in the WNBA right now, this year's number 1 pick would be one of the 10 most untradeable
and especially
assets.
As we go through this pod, given the direction the Dallas Wings are going in, like, they're not giving an indication that they're going to trade out of that pick.
Yeah.
Maybe if they'd retained some of their star players, they, that might be something they'd consider. But no, like, they're certainly looking like, they're going to be picking Paige first overall. Come blank.
I think April, the 14th, let's say. It could be. I could be completely wrong on that. Yeah, you check that out.
Yeah.
But I'm glad we've made that decision. We've made the decision to forge a path towards a younger core.
April the 14th. God damn it, man.
Damn.
That's incredible.
Yeah,
I checked the numbers guy.
I checked that WNBA key dates website like once a week.
Yeah, right. Just to see if any change.
Because I forget every single time. But how are you feeling about the Vegas side of this?
Yeah, I feel like this. Yeah, it's refreshing the squad. I think I'm sad about Kelsey Plum leaving because she's been such a huge part of our success. She was also like, I feel like her come up has been part of my, fandom journey with the Aces as well. Like, started following the year where she won 6th Player of the Year and immediate all-star WNBA champion, blah 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 blah. But yeah, it does feel like our offense was sort of a bit lacking between her and Chelsea Gray at the guard spots last year. And then, to get Jewel Lloyd in the mix, who, you're right, had a very down season. I'm very turned off by the numbers that it started with last year. Like, they're pretty cosmically bad. But, like, we know she's a good player, and, like, I think this is going to be a much better offensive ecosystem for her to operate in. Like, I feel like she's just going to get much better looks playing next to Asia, much better looks getting set up by Chelsea Gray. But yeah, I don't know. It does feel like, if you're the Aces and you had the season you had last year, like, you just have to make a move like this. You just have to get marginally better somewhere. You can't trade for like another superstar because you already have 3.5 of them on your team. So you just need to like shake the bag, make a marginal move better. Like, I think Jewel Lloyd's better than Kelsey Plum. And yeah, like the draft assets just don't matter because like while Asia Wilson's on our team, like, we're not going to be picking anyone meaningful in the first round. Like, look what happened with Kate Martin last year. Like, showed good signs and just got absolutely no opportunity to play basketball for us. Yeah.
That's a great point. Do you feel like Jewel Lloyd coming in brings a new wrinkle into the Kelsey Plum role, or do you feel like it's just like a plug and play?
No, I do think it brings a new wrinkle. I think she's a much more consistent scorer, but then maybe we lose some of Kelsey Plum's playmaking. Yeah, I do think there'll be more opportunity to just be like, all right, Jewel, here's the ball, like, you go get us a bucket when our other stars aren't firing.
I'd say I'd agree with that. I think Jewel Lloyd averaged 25 points 2 seasons ago, which isn't bold. But I would have thought that was league leading, unless Asia was having one of her seasons.
I don't think she was averaging more than 25 points. Yeah.
But yeah, I think especially that like shot creation from deep, I feel like has been historically very good throughout Jewel Lloyd's career.
Yeah.
Horrible season last season. I think like it's such a downtick in efficiency. And watching that Seattle team, there was just no like, I want to say there was no identity, but there didn't really feel like much motivation to win. Yeah. Like, it really didn't. It felt like the organization was trying to throw together this, quote unquote contender, which was never the case. But it felt like the players knew, like, it just didn't feel like a team. It didn't feel like a team that was committed to winning a championship together. And then so again, I'm happy with this, with that part of. With that being Seattle's part in this trade, getting the young big and pick 2. The Sparks part of this is like an unmitigated success.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think that is exquisite movement. Getting pick 2, pick 13, getting back Kelsey Plum. You've got Cameron Brink. You got a young player. You got Ricaiah Jackson. Picks 2 and 4 from last season's draft. Derek Hamby, you spoke with Kelsey Plum, just like a year ago, basically.
Yeah.
And like, talk about identity. Like, this team is, I think a lot of teams want to be that like hard, unrefined, team that brings the fight. They are well on their way to being that team. Like, I feel like they're just like, they embody that like rough and tumble.
Yeah, absolutely. And just a good consolidation of young talent and veterans. Like, right time to pair them together. Like, you can't just keep bringing young players in. You can't bring in another number 2 pick unless it's a sort of consensus like Paige Beckers or Cameron Brink, which it doesn't sound like it is in this draft. I think like Kelsey is such a leader. She is, she's one of the most annoying players to play against in the league on her day. You're right. I think that's like what this Sparks team is trying to embody.
For sure. And they just signed Australia's very own Anneli Maley to a training camp contract.
Another bloody hard worker. Another hard yakka basketball player.
Yeah. And who was the other player they drafted in that? I think it was Emma Cannon. They drafted another wing that was
they got Emma Cannon. Emma Cannon, yep.
Yeah. Azurá Stevens is still on that team. I actually completely forgot about that. But, Kurt Miller is all about, like, he spoke about his coaching career, more broadly. And he said the only thing he really had left on his to-do list as a head coach in the WNBA was develop a young team. He was like, I've won championships. I think he said he's won college championships as well. But he's had success across the board, built contenders. And he said, I think the only thing that he really wanted to do with the rest of his career was, be the coach of a young team. And the way he developed individual players' individual skills, as well as how he put them all together for the team last year, was awesome. And I really hope that Maley gets the chance to get a full-time contract with this team, because I really think that she would pair so well with, imagine a lineup with Brink, Hamby, Ricaiah Jackson, Kelsey Plum, and then, Maley will probably play with the backup unit.
Yeah.
Like, she definitely will if she makes the team. Yeah. But she would be so perfect in that.
Yeah.
Imagine, if she would just tie everything together. She'd fight, for loose balls and stuff. But, this is masterful roster construction from the Sparks.
Yeah. I think Maley's also... I'd love to see Maley in a WNBA role. Sort of, I guess, similar to when your two-time podcast guest was on the Las Vegas Aces.
My mate.
And, it was like going from being like the first or second option on offense to being like more of a role player, but then translating those skills to the WNBA context. I feel like Emily Maley could do the same thing. It was she is such a fulcrum of the Perth Lynx, and it's like, all right, but what if you use all these different offensive and defensive skills she has as the the fifth player on the court? It's just such a good wrinkle to add those sorts of players, and bloody the strength of the WNBL. I think that's one of the amazing things about the WNBL is there's these players who play such different roles, from when they're here to when they're in the WNBA, and the fact that they get to do both is just so good for their development.
Yeah, it's also great as a fan of them.
Yeah.
And how much they're capable of, and then they get asked to play this role because they share the court with Kelsey Plum. I would see Maley playing a role she plays with the Opals.
Yeah.
In the Opals is the 5-on-5 team, not the 3x3 team, which she loves.
Yeah.
I 3x3 is so hard. I don't understand how people could possibly prefer it. There's so much more accountability. I'm not about that.
Hey, if you're playing professional basketball, you're probably being accountable, whichever format you're playing.
That's probably true. Is there anything else you want to speak to on the Aces side of things, or is there a fucking cop that storm? You guys are rebuilding now?
Nah, not at all. Because I don't feel like this is an A deal for the Aces. You know what I mean? It's sort of all right, you have to do something this off season, or you're going to stand still and everyone's going to get better. I like Jewel Lloyd. She's probably not my preferred player. If I could have any player in the league. So yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see how this season goes, and then kind of like, what the second half of this era of the Las Vegas Aces is like. If last season was maybe, a combination of injuries and fatigue and a bit of a, maybe stuttering a bit while the rest of the league is moving forward, or if it's like, all right, we've kind of lost pace with the the New York Liberties and the freaking Phoenix Mercuries of the league, and like we can't just make these little moves to get better.
Yeah. I think it does offer a new wrinkle to your offense as well. Slightly varied, but I think you did need to change it up a little bit. And yeah, I think also teams really keyed in on Jewel Lloyd, and they were happy to let anything else go with the Storm. Not just last season, but especially the season before.
Yeah.
And she had so much. Like, she had so much of the D was coming her way, and she was like perfect in that role next to Stewie and playing with a playmaker like Sue Bird. And like, there's a bit of Chelsea Gray and Sue Bird. Asia and Stewie is like the perfect clash.
Yeah.
Like they're like clashing styles. But just from like the mental side of it, like she has played with that player type as the guard and that player type as the big.
Yeah.
Commanding as much attention as they do.
Yeah.
So it is proven that in that role where she can be like the pure primary creator on the wing, I think that's been very proven.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, Marco, you said the Phoenix Mercury just got considerably stronger.
They sure did, Lucas.
Would you like to tell us why?
God, so I think this is really cool that so they've made big moves. I won't bury the lead. They made big moves for Alyssa Thomas and Satu Sabali. But somehow they've bundled those two trades together.
True.
into one endless snake, one Ouroboros, or whatever you say. I think it was to immediately move. I think it was Jaylen Brown, maybe. Like, I think that was the piece that had to immediately move to make the trade to work. And then, so they had to link the two trades together.
I see.
In this massive 4-team trade, the Phoenix Mercury received Satu Sabali, Alyssa Thomas, Kalani Brown, and Sevgi Uzun. The Indiana Fever received Sophie Cunningham, Jaylen Brown, and the number 15 pick in the 2025 draft from Phoenix. The Connecticut Sun receive Beck Allen, Natasha Cloud, JC Sheldon, and the number 8 pick in the 2025 draft from Indiana. And then Beck Allen, in a separate trade, was immediately moved to Chicago Sky. And then the Dallas Wings receive Dejanay Carrington, Tiasha Harris, Melissa Smith, Mikia Herbert Harrigan, the number 12 pick in the 2025 draft from the Liberty via Phoenix, and 2 pick swaps.
There you go. This is such a good trade.
Yeah.
Like, all of these players are good.
Yeah.
All of these players make it into the rotation. I feel like I didn't see enough for Jaylen Brown or Micaiah Herbert Harrigan last season. But every other player, I'm like, God, I'd be happy as the team receiving them to be receiving them.
Totally.
The Phoenix is like... That's crazy. Satu Sabali and Alyssa Thomas both finished top 5 in the MVP. Was it 2 seasons ago or 3 seasons ago or something?
Yep.
The only reason Satu hasn't been in the MVP discussion since then is because she hasn't been fully healthy. And she's also been playing on a team that hasn't had too much success when she's out. So it's just been disjointed. But like, I think another piece of this is that Brittany Griner is no longer with the Phoenix Mercury. And I feel like and like, Sophie Cunningham has just been like, she really embodied and personified that team.
Yeah.
Let's call them the down years, which was, I think, maybe 1 year.
Missing the playoffs at one time.
Yeah. But she's really been she's been a stalwart of the franchise. But yeah, Satu and Alyssa Thomas being like the two pieces that you bring in for like the pivot, that's awesome. And Kalia Copper was unreal last year. Still got Diana Taurasi. And I feel like bringing in Satu and Alyssa Thomas, they're two players that you can plug into a starting lineup and, they can play the majority of the game, and like talk about players that could just age, or like they will take on so much of the offensive responsibility that Tayona Taurasi can. Like, I feel like this adds a year or two to her career.
Yeah. Well, I think like that's the news on Taurasi is she's still considering if she'll actually play this season. Like, I don't think she's committed to playing. And yeah, you'd be interested to see if this is a tick in the column for playing, because she gets to play with this like new, exciting, energetic, and just like super. I think that's the right word. Super creative cast of supporting characters. Like there's so much creation on this team all of a sudden, like or if she sort of sees this as the end of her era and just wants to make room for the team to have a completely new identity. But I mean, I don't think she has to do that, because I think at her age she can be like much more adaptable like than when she was one of the fulcrums of the offense. Like she can just take on a much smaller role, and she's that sort of player that I think that works. But I think it's very, it's just such a cool thing to do. Also, like, Kalia Copper, great, had a great season. Satu Sabali, she'll be MVP at least once in the next 5 years. But like to kind of clear the path for Alyssa Thomas a bit as well. Like I feel like there's a big bit of getting Alyssa Thomas on your team where you're like, I'm committing to playing Alyssa Thomas basketball. And that's easier to do when you have like this new fresh cast. I think they've got a new coach this season as well.
Really?
Potentially.
Is it not Nate Tibbetts?
Oh no, it is Nate Tibbetts. No, I'm thinking of someone else. Sorry, never mind.
He's great. This is one of the teams I have very good access to.
Oh no, he was new last.
Yeah,
last season.
Yeah,
that's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah. He will. Oh man, he's such a good interview. But yeah, the great additions. And like Sevgi Uzun, I like her as like a backup creator. Kalani Brown is like legit all of the good parts of Tierra McCowan without the bad parts of Tierra McCowan. Functionally, like the best of Tierra McCowan is obviously better than the best of Kalani Brown. Didn't realize that Kalani Brown's dad was PJ Brown, who was bloody just Celtics legend of the early 2000s and the late 90s.
There you go.
Or maybe not just the Celtics. I feel like he jumped around a bit, but he was always a round 12 in a 2K draft pick for me.
One season for the Boston Celtics in 2008, but you know what that means.
He won a ring.
He's won a ring, yeah.
He won a ring.
Congrats.
He also was 14th.
Congrats, PJ.
He was 14th in MVP in 2004-05.
Wow.
With averaging 10 points a game.
Incredible.
That's got to be something to write home about. And then, yes, 13th in Defensive Player of the Year the following year. But his daughter and her new team are looking like they'll be stronger than they were last year. I did think that there was a bit of, I don't know, I feel like more will come out, but it just felt like Griner's time, post being in a Russian penal colony. I think that she probably wanted a completely fresh start.
Yeah.
And I think that there was it did feel a bit stale, her being in Phoenix last year. And whatever she needs is whatever she needs.
But she obviously cared so much about the franchise that she wanted to go back there and give it a shot. Yeah, which she did.
But I think this team is going to be electric next year.
Yeah.
And the league is going to be incredible.
So maybe on the Indiana Fever side of things, they've also signed Natasha Howard and Dewana Bonner in free agency. So adding those two and Sophie Cunningham and Jaylen Brown, but mainly those first three. I feel like that's just adding talent, experience around, Caitlin Clark, Ali Boston. Yeah, it's just such a smart thing to do.
Yeah. I feel like I mean, they've kind of built a core now that they can run out for the next few years. Dewana Bonner is she's such a good player.
Yeah,
and she's such a good fit. She's such a good toolsy fit next to Clark and Boston. The way she'll complement both of them at the same time. Yeah. You can just imagine Caitlin Clark coming off two screens at the top of the key, and then if Bonner's cutting to the rim and Clark hits Bonner on a roll, that's a bucket.
Yeah.
No matter what happens after that, if
Yeah.
the ball somehow finds its way back to Clark, which would be the last option, but if it like kicking out to a shooter or dump off pass to Boston or Bonner goes herself, like she will be perfect. She'll be in like the Temi Fagbinley role from last year.
Yeah.
But more toolsy and more experienced.
Yeah, I think we spoke about this when we were talking about the Sun after their elimination in the playoffs last season. But yeah, Dwayne Bonner is just quietly one of the most accomplished players in like, you know, the last 15 years of the WNBA. Like just puts up numbers and puts up achievements year after year after year after year after year. And yeah, like she's 37 years old this year. No,
Damn.
she's already 37 years old. She will be 38 during this season.
Oh my
and
God.
like she just doesn't look like she's like getting, you know, doesn't look like she's taking any steps backwards.
No way. Well,
she could be an all-star on this team with Caitlin Clark.
Yeah, dead set.
Boston, like this season.
Yeah, I want to know, was Natasha Howard, I feel like she ended up last season as a starter. Is that the case? Because I don't foresee that happening with Aaliyah Boston. Oh no, she's been like a full-time starter
Yeah.
every year since
God,
2018.
she put up numbers last year. What the hell?
Yeah, she's a gun.
Oh my
She's
goodness.
a very quiet gun.
Yeah.
But yeah, her coming off the bench. Why did I feel like she had a season where she was coming off the bench? Unless I'm thinking of someone else.
Yeah.
But anyway, I feel like she backing up Aaliyah Boston. That is such a strong front court.
Yeah.
And yeah, it'll be interesting to see how Clark sets everyone up. And now there's the threat of Clark off ball. Like now that's a bigger threat. Like Bonner, you'd be happy with her creating every once in a while.
Yeah.
And then just the offense that will eventuate because of how good the rest of the team is now.
Yeah.
This is great off season for the Fever.
Yeah. And Sophie Cunningham, I think she's just the perfect fit next to any, I don't know, for want of a better word, heliocentric player. Like she's just gonna hang out on the wing and hit big threes.
Yeah. They had Lexi Hull in that role last season, and I think she shot 47% from three.
Yeah.
But I think the two of them will bounce off each other, and I feel like Cunningham would probably be a good mentor for her as well.
Yeah.
Sure. Any other parts of this you want to dice up?
Well, briefly Connecticut. So as well as the players I mentioned, they also signed Tina Charles, returning to the team that drafted.
Tina Charles, I think, is the player. Actually, was the player I was thinking of when I said Natasha Howard.
Oh,
let me double check that. Because I think she did that with the Storm a couple of seasons ago. Yeah, so I was thinking of Tina Charles,
no,
she only did it
floating
once.
around doing the, God, I shouldn't say that, but doing the ring chasing thing.
Well, she ended up on the Dream last year, so it didn't go too well there. But yeah, she also only did that one season, but it left a compelling mark. Good work, Tina. God, her accolades in that first 7 years of her career are crazy.
We're both looking at them, aren't we?
And she came first in MVP one year.
All right, and no ring. That's sad, man.
You know what I was thinking?
She came first in MVP.
I thought the same thing about Jewel Lloyd, like opposite. She doesn't have the MVP, but she's got like 8 accolades, but like they're like the 8 best.
Yeah.
The 8 you want, and then also an All-Star Game MVP. But what part of that was this? What part of this was that? That was the Sun part of it.
So they've lost, they've lost Alyssa Thomas. They've lost Joanna Bonner. They've lost Brianna Jones. That's the 3 best players.
Yeah.
So I don't really know. I'm not sure where the Sun are right now. Like, is this the pre-build?
True. That's so funny. That's probably exactly what we're looking at.
Like the season where you start to bottom out, but you haven't bottomed out yet.
Yeah.
Because I mean they've still got they've still got interesting players on there. Let's get their roster up before I say that. But I mean, they got Natasha Cloud, who's still like a very capable basketball player. Like someone you would want on a contending team as well. Yeah, we got Marina Mabry in there. Far out. Their roster at the moment is 7 players.
Yeah.
And one of them is Beck Allen, who's been traded.
Oh my god. But one of them is Tina Charles.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who knows where they're going to go from here.
That's crazy.
Yeah. They must have so much money to play with as well then.
Yeah.
But the dominoes have been falling. And they haven't really gotten anything. I also don't understand, and maybe this is because I'm Aussie, but like, Beck Allen, why is no one keeping her?
I know.
Dude, the playoffs 2 years ago against the New York Liberty.
Yeah.
Like, Alyssa Thomas was really took that Brianna Stewart matchup, like, very personally.
Yeah.
But Beck Allen was dead set. I think she had 18 points, I know at least once.
Yeah.
But the way she was creating, it was like, okay, cool, you're going to be like our, like, stopper on the wing all year long, and you're going to hit threes. Oh shit, we need someone to like step up in this playoff game. Oh shit, Beck Allen's done it.
Yeah.
We didn't even have to ask her. She just took that upon herself. Like, I don't know. Yeah, I can see what value she'll have to the Chicago Sky.
Yeah.
But there's got to be a contender who's looking for a player like her that she will take over the top. Like, there's no way she ends up. Like, there's got to be another move just for her sake and for, like, a contending team's sake. Like, she would change... If every contending team was equal, there were 3 teams that were equal, the one that adds Beck Allen is, like... That's a huge player that the other teams don't have.
Yeah, absolutely. Even if it's like you say, like, just having someone who, you know, you can throw out in big moments and is reliable... I don't know. That's genuinely been a mystery to me the last like 3 seasons. Why she can't like stick on a team.
If the Liberty signed her, she would start in the finals.
Yeah.
Dallas, Dejanay Carrington, I reckon she's pretty pissed off that she's ended up there.
Yeah.
Do they still have Arike Gumbawale?
Yes.
They still have Arike Gumbawale. You know, assumed Paige Beckers is coming in. That's a lot of backcourt players. Dejanay had a great season last season. Who knows what's going on in Connecticut? You'd have to assume... Oh, that's right. Stephanie White is now the coach of the Indiana Fever. Oh, my God. And they got Alyssa Thomas. Oh, my God. They're going to be...
They got Duana Bonner.
They got Duana Bonner. You're exactly right. They're going to be...
Well, they're going to hit the ground running, you might
They're going to...
say.
Do you reckon they'll... They could have home court advantage. They were 20-20 last season.
Yeah.
Huge improvements on the roster.
Yeah.
That's a huge... Who was the last...
I mean, if you want to look about it like that, like, yeah, you should get at least 6 more wins if you add those players in the offseason.
Yeah. Christy Sides, I think she did a good job with the Indiana Fever last season. Another great interview. But Stephanie White is like, oh man, she could be better than Becky Hammond as a coach. Oh, no, I won't say that. But she'd be the closest thing to Becky Hammond.
Come on.
Yeah.
Does she have her aura? Didn't think so.
But she's really creative as well, and that'll pair so well with Clark. Not to mention the rest of the players that are coming in. But yeah, Dallas now have a surplus of guards. They got Nalissa Smith. I think she's a pretty cool player to have. But I think Dallas is quite clearly in a rebuild.
Yeah, I don't love this. I just don't love this whole situation for Dallas, where like you had the number 1 overall pick. It's a generational guard, like, you know, kind of everyone agrees could be like a top 5 player in the league in the next few years. You had like a wing. You had someone who played in another position to her, 2 or 3 years older than her, who also looks like one of the best players in the league, and you traded her away. And I think this would have been, man, this is my number 1 WNBA hater moment. Like, you had an opportunity to get rid of Arika Ogunbowale. Like,
wow. Oh my God, we were talking about that like almost immediately.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Like, there was an opportunity to be like, cool, thanks for your time here, but it hasn't been very fruitful for us. We're going to get in like a completely different look in our backcourt and retain, you know, our good young wing. So like, I mean, you know, there must be something else going on that we're not privy to, because I don't think you just trade away Satou Sabali for that haul. Just like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, it's really weird. She's like an MVP candidate,
Yeah.
and she's 26.
Wait a second. Kurt Miller's no longer the coach of the Los Angeles Sparks.
What? What?
Luckily, I searched that up because
What
Lynn
happened?
Roberts.
What
What
happened
the
to Kurt
hell?
Miller?
Kurt Miller is now the executive vice president and general manager of the Dallas Wings.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, we've been slagging this bloke off. So let's revisit everything we've said. So
We
Latricia
were
Trammell,
giving him his flowers for coaching when we should have been giving him his fucking toilet
his toilet.
for
pooping.
GMing.
So Latricia Trammell out as Dallas Wings head coach. I don't know. I think she got dealt a bad hand. She was coming in as a defensive coach, and she had no defenders on the team. Chris Cocklanes is now the head
I almost
coach.
want to call him Coclanus. I feel like that's a nicer way to say it, but I've got no evidence that's how it's pronounced.
I would say if this was the States,
Yeah, probably Cocklanes.
Yeah. Even if he says like I prefer it the other way. So now Kurt Miller is his. He's the 2IC to Kurt Miller. And Lynn Roberts is now the head coach of the Los Angeles Sparks. And who were we just talking about? We were talking about the Dallas Wings.
Yep.
Who brought in, what was his name? Chris Cocklanes.
Yeah.
So God knows what's going to go on there.
Yeah.
What the next season looks like for the Dallas Wings. But yeah, I think the timeline of events was us on this pod. Hey, you can trade Arike Gumbawala and probably get something good for her. Probably a year or two after, Latricia Trammell's coming in. That's a pretty cool idea. Now 2 years into the Latricia Trammell, or did she only get one season? Either way, as of today, they now have no, like, looking around the roster, there's no one they can remember.
Yeah.
They got a new head coach coming in, and what the hell?
Yeah. I
What the hell?
actually can't really. The more I think about it, God, it's a bad time to be a Dallas basketball fan.
And this is the team that's going to get Paige Beckers.
Yeah.
Like, think about how well set up the
Yeah,
number
the
one
Fever
pick
were.
was last
Yeah.
season. It was
Yeah.
like, oh my god, cool. The Indiana Fever know exactly who they
Yeah.
are and where they're going. And now Paige Beckers has to come into this.
Yep.
God damn.
Just I feel like I want to learn something more about the Satu Sabali trade because it doesn't make sense in a vacuum like this. Yeah.
What else? We got a few other
Yeah.
moves here that you wanted to.
So
you added.
Atlanta Dream signed Brittany Griner and Brianna Jones, giving some much needed front court reinforcements to their quite good backcourt, I would say.
Yeah.
What do you think these two players are?
Oh my god, this is such a good, that's a crazy good
Yeah.
center rotation. Brianna Jones used to back up Jonquel Jones, moved into the starting lineup, effectively looked just as good
Yeah.
with the Connecticut
Yeah.
Sun. She is awesome. I think, let's just look at these two players together. Brianna Jones having the chance to learn from Brittany Griner, that's crazy. That's that's awesome. She's such a good big Brianna Jones. Great footwork, great finisher, incredible finisher. Great physical presence, doesn't take any shit from anyone, really owns the key. Then the other player is Brittany Griner. But I would say, I couldn't imagine Brianna Jones coming off the bench here.
No, not after the last few seasons she's
Yeah.
had.
And then BG, I mean, no one else in the league is as big and tall as her. She's still such a good player. Hopefully she can recapture some of her earlier career form. Or added in flashes and sparks for the Atlanta Dream. But yeah, who's the Ryan Howard obviously, but who's her backcourt running back?
Alicia Gray. Is it?
Oh, true. Yeah,
Yeah.
she's.
And then our friend
Alicia Gray's just such a handful.
our friend Jordan Canada coming off.
Oh,
the
true.
bench.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a really good guard rotation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, Ryan Howard's bringing in one of these players would have been huge for Ryan Howard.
Yeah.
Now you got both of them. That's
Yeah.
awesome. And then hopefully Cheyenne Parker can recapture some form. Please don't tell me she's left.
It's nice finding out in real time, isn't it? No, but she did get married.
She did. Congratulations. How are you feeling about these two bigs going into Atlanta?
Pretty much everything you said. No, but I do. I like the problem of having Brittany Griner and Brianna Jones and figuring out having them on the court at the same time, which you can totally do. But that's just an embarrassment of riches to have those two players. Like I think Jones plays the 4 completely fine. Also given what the rest of the roster is like, but also like I think if you're just splitting minutes between the two of them, starting them both, and then just staggering them until the end of the game, like you're gonna look so good. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and Granite can pop out and hit that mid-range.
Yeah.
And then you can play inside. Oh, this team is really well set up. They also have so many WNBL players.
Yeah.
Jordan Canada, Nia Coffey, Naz Hillman, Haley Jones.
Yeah. Damn.
Wait, I said Jordan Canada. Ariel Powers is on this team. Oh, man. This team looks like they got to cut like 8 players. Awesome. Are there any other? Did we touch on these other moves? No, we didn't touch on the Chicago Sky.
Should we? Yeah, we'll quickly run through this. Courtney Vandersloot heading back to the Chicago Sky. So as well as adding Beck Allen, they've added her and Kia Nurse. I mean, yeah, I think getting Sloot back, like surely that's the perfect veteran to knock some sense into Angel Reese, to just like tighten that team up, because I mean, yeah, I think there was some real good moments from them the last season, but like, yeah, they just need discipline. Yeah.
Not only that, they need to screw their heads on straight. Like, they needed a direction. I feel like they started off good enough, but they just like kind of unfolded as the season went on. And then also I think Kia Nurse is like such an important player for that. Brianna Turner's still on this team from a season ago, but yeah, like bringing in the professionals of Vandersloot, Beck Allen, and Kia Nurse, like that's just going to raise the quality of the team. And hopefully that helps out the rest of the team. Not even from like a wins and losses standpoint, just from like a what does success look like standpoint. Because like Beck Allen's seen that. Kia Nurse hasn't seen that as much as the other two, but I feel like she's still seen that enough. And she's been so relied upon throughout her career to be a player that can come in and just kind of solve some issue that the team she's coming into has. And this team is kind of rife with issues. And then, yeah, Sloot probably played her best basketball with Chicago.
Yeah,
I mean,
definitely.
she should have been finals MVP when Kylie Copper won it.
Yeah,
I'm still pretty... Yeah, if
I'm
I haven't changed my
pissed
mind
about that.
if I haven't changed my mind about it yet, I probably never will. But yeah, I really do want a team with like such good high profile young players in not only Angel Reese but also Camila Cardoso.
Yeah.
Like they if they have good tutelage, then they can be great.
Yeah. We've talked about most of the rest of these moves here, but we bloody missed in the Phoenix Mercury chat. Sammy Whitcomb.
Yeah.
Bloody... I would you imagine the WNBL MVP this season?
Yeah, man. I thought it would have been... Oh, I thought that was Donnie.
Yeah.
I thought it would have been Jade Melbourne, but Sammy Whitcomb just had the most ridiculous game. And Shanice Swain has played 2 crazy games. I think she had combined 76 points her last 2 games.
That's nuts.
But Sammy Whitcomb... man, searching for WNBL stats is so hard. But
I think she's averaging like 20 points a game.
she's had incredible
6 assists, something like that.
Yeah, she's had incredible games. The Bendigo Spirit have had 2 9-game winning streaks in a 21-game season. Yeah, she's averaging 21 points, but show me the damn fixture. She had her last game, which was I think yesterday. It was yesterday. She had something crazy. She had 30-ish points. What was it? Finally, I got there, by the way, listener. 33 points, 3 boards, 3 assists. But I think she had like 8 threes or something. I don't know, man. I don't know if I'd choose her. Courtney Woods is also having a great season. Shanice Swain doesn't have the wins. But I think she'd be the front runner for sure. I think if I had to pick a top 3 to be Sammy Whitcomb, Jade Melbourne, Courtney Woods.
Yeah, nice.
For this season.
Well, anyway, the Phoenix Mercury signed us. So
yeah.
That's great for them.
How good for them.
But I think, we're talking about like the top end talent that they have, and the prospect of Tarossi staying and what her role is like. But yeah, Sammy Whitcomb's she'll just do whatever you want her to do, like in that team. I think. Yeah.
Man, Nate Tibbetts with the starters that we've established, but like also the relief players, Amy Atwell,
Yeah.
Sammy Whitcomb, Sevgi Uzun, Celeste Taylor. Like, he must be foaming at the
Yeah,
mouth.
that's so
He must
good.
be so excited. Like, we've already seen what he can do with the starters and, like, what Natasha Mack provides as a big, what Brown's going to bring in. And then, yeah, the other pieces that are coming in. But, like, even, like, players 6, 7, 8, 9 off the bench will be like, hey, I want you to be the best player in this game. I want you to come in and for the next 3 minutes, Amy Atwell, you're going to take 4 pull-up threes.
Yeah.
Sammy
yeah,
Whitcomb,
yeah.
we are running everything through you. Like, it'll be like that. And, like, they'll be deadly with their starting lineup, and then he will make those... he won't make it, but he will bring the best out of those backup players in backup roles as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's super exciting.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
really hope Atwell gets a chance with this
definitely.
team.
She's so fun to watch.
She's so fun to watch. She's been great in the WNBL
Yep.
this season. She's finally gotten back to good health. And the Perth Lynx are just going to be so good in the finals. The WNBL finals are going to be so good.
What do you reckon Sammy Whitcomb's WNBL single game points high is?
Do you have it?
Yeah, I do.
Well, she got 33 yesterday.
Oh no, it's WNBA. Sorry.
Oh, WNBA.
Yeah,
Sammy Whitcomb?
Yeah.
32?
God, 30.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
No way.
30 for the New York Liberty in 2021.
Was that the year she was in the 3-point contest? Let's say roughly around there.
Yeah.
That 3-point contest with her and Quigley and... Was it Ionescu? And Jewel Lloyd?
Yeah.
Was it those 4? I feel like maybe there's a player we're missing out there.
Yep.
But Quigley and Whitcomb were crazy. They were stupid. That was such a stupid 3-point contest. Quigley missed like 1 shot, I swear. I don't know why. Like, I don't know how Ionescu like outscored her in that. Who had the record? Was it Ionescu that
I think so.
broke
Yeah,
the record?
yeah.
I actually don't believe that. Quigley was stupid. a few years ago.
Impossible. There's no way that happened.
Is there anything else you want to talk about here on the WNBA free agency?
Nah, just that it's been great. Wow, yeah, 30 points as a starter for the New York Liberty against the Atlanta Dream on the 27th of June, 2021. Go Sammy. No, it's been great looking at this and just remembering how many good players there are in the WNBA and how many good players there are going to be next season. And you should bloody tune in.
Yeah, like every team is pretty compelling and captivating.
When we were going through that Big 4 team trade and you're like, yeah, all those players provide value to those teams. It's like, yeah, you're damn right.
Yeah, goddamn
There's no
right.
slashes there.
Have you been watching much or consuming passively any of the WNBL lately?
No, I haven't watched much lately, no.
Okay.
But we're getting up to playoff time, so...
Yeah, it's time to tune in.
Yeah.
I just said during my episode last week that I would get back to my Geelong United report card for this week.
Oh, yep.
I was singing their praises. I went to both of their games this week. They lost both of their games in the third quarter. It was just like a complete... Like, the game was just flipped on its head by both teams. They were missing Jazz Shelley for the game against Canberra. I think she could have turned that game to... She would have at least given them a chance to be competitive through that third quarter and, may have ended up winning that game. They never had any chance of beating Bendigo. It was so fun to watch Bendigo in person. I hope... it's shaping up... Oh, would we go to Bendigo? Oh, you're going to be away.
Wait, when will the finals be?
Oh, yeah. The finals will be the 22nd-ish of February.
Oh, at 100%. We've got to drive to Bendigo.
Head on down to Bendigo for a game? Shit.
Yeah.
Oh, let's go then, for
That'd
sure.
be awesome. You could even get the train. Have a couple of these ones, get the train back.
The Line. Let's definitely do that. But yeah, the WNBL finals are looking like they're going to be awesome. I completely discounted Sydney for that 4th spot. Now they're comfortably in that 4th spot. I said it's going to be a playoff between Canberra and Geelong. And then Sydney beat Canberra. So they've just established themselves back in that 4th spot. And now the pressure is really off them.
Yeah.
Like I think they're probably, if they win one more game, they're probably guaranteed.
Yeah.
And they got Canberra this week. So if they win that, they are, I think they've all but locked, they lock up that 4th spot.
Yeah.
But who knows? I'm not making any more calls. This WNBL.
Nah, it's fine to be wrong.
Yeah.
It's part of the game,
Yeah. But yeah, that top 3, any one of them is going to be like a a worthy champion this season. And even Adelaide found a win last round. So, yeah, I think the product between the WNBL and the WNBA is a really good, like, it's actually perfectly set up. If those are your main two leagues you're watching, you get a break in March and April.
Yeah.
And you can still follow, like, the WNBA off-season. And then...
It's also nice to have a break.
Oh my God,
Someone
it
who
actually
doesn't
is.
ever get a break from sports.
Yeah. But then you basically...
Test cricket just finished, and now I have to do the WNBA free agency podcast.
You're not watching Test cricket. Don't be silly. My God, Marco, is it a great time to be a basketball
Such a
fan?
good time, man.
And for anyone who made it this far, we're also going to be talking about how Luka Doncic and AD traded for each other in 3 days' time on a 4-man
So,
league.
yeah, sorry if you clicked on this podcast and waited for an hour for us to talk about that. But you should have known from the title.
Yeah. Oh God, and the De'Aaron Fox trade. Anyway,
Fucking hell.
thanks for tuning in, Marco. We'll see you in a couple of weeks.
Peace
out. Bye. And we're back.
Psych. No, Lucas, I just wanted to ask you about the in-arena experience of watching Geelong United at what's their home ground called?
Geelong Arena.
Geelong Arena.
Yeah. It's had the likes of Jessica Mauboy, Kelly Clarkson walk through those doors.
Jesus.
I think
And now
Miley
Lucas
Cyrus.
Petridis.
Dan, you always get me with those. Great. It was so good to watch a basketball game there. Good capacity. Great fan base in Geelong. They really got down. Like, they really got around the team. Even the Wednesday night game was, like, close to capacity. And then the Saturday night game was basically at capacity. But, yeah, I think they have a great fan base there. And there was a great fan base in Melbourne for the Boomers. But, like, I can assure you, former Melbourne Boomers fan, I guess you'd still be a Melbourne Boomers fan, but the team is very well appreciated.
Yeah.
And they play great basketball. Like, very fun to watch basketball. Jazz Shelley is so much fun to watch in person. She really sets the tone for the team. Great playmaker, play initiator. She is so unfazed by any miss. Like, she plays with so much confidence. And it kind of spreads throughout the rest of the team. Haley Jones is also just pretty ridiculous to watch in person. Saw Nadia Poch on Saturday night. And...
Hell yeah.
You know how she just, like, ends up at the basket?
Yeah.
It's like, I'm still just as, like, bewildered by it when I watch it in person. Like, she still just ends up there with the ball. Like, I don't fully understand what's just happened, but she ends up, setting herself up for, like, a good look. But yeah, great. I've been to Geelong for 3 games now, and I think 2. Wow, all 3 of them have been blowouts. And even still, it's been a good experience.
Yeah. Well, glad to hear it. Glad to hear basketball's alive and well in Western Victoria.
Yeah.
And with that, goodbye.